Hey, so in this video, I'm gonna share how I make between $20 and $30,000 per month without sales calls, without teams, without running ads, without having a big audience. And yes, I know that there are a lot of withouts, but kind of this is the reality. I'm not a fancy guru. I don't have followers. I don't really run ads. I'm a pretty simple guy at the end of the day. And sometimes, to also start off very transparently, sometimes I do get on calls with people, but just for 20 minutes kind of formality calls. But the majority of the people, actually the last 5 people who paid me $5,000 plus to work with me, were purely in the DMs. And I didn't even follow any DM script or whatever it is. They asked me questions, I replied, they paid, everything is good. So how do we do that? What is the system behind it fundamentally? So I like to build my business based on analogies, because analogies and metaphors usually are very easy to understand. And one of my best metaphors that I would actually say that built my business is the butterfly metaphor. So the butterfly metaphor is basically, there was this kid who wanted to get a butterfly and he loved butterflies. So he went out there, chased butterflies, ran behind them, jumped behind them, fell on his knees, got back again, jumped more and jumped more and jumped more, and he got a butterfly. Success. And when he got this butterfly, he took it back to his parents, and his parents look at him, ripped shirt, bloody knees, dirt entirely soaked in dirt. And they were like, okay, so if you love butterflies so much, why don't we build you a garden, and your butterflies will be attracted to the garden, and then whenever you want a butterfly, you could go out to your garden and you have hundreds of butterflies fundamentally. Now this one metaphor really changed how I think about business entirely, because for my entire lifetime as a coach and as a consultant, I was the chaser. So I was the person who ran behind people. First, I started sending cold DMs, then I started doing some ads, then I started doing some content. And I became really good at copywriting because I needed to do that, because I had to get people to work with me. And I chased people, followed people. I had a setter at one point, sending approximately 100 messages per day. And for my entire life, I was this chaser. But then when I heard this metaphor, I was like, I don't want to be a chaser anymore. I don't want to be the person who's going out to get those people. How can I become the person that brings those people in naturally? And another also story that I love, and by the way, I'm going to get to how we did it, is the lighthouse story, which is the lighthouse doesn't move. It's there. It in itself is there. And it shines the light. And ships find it. And ships come to it. That's it. It doesn't move for the ships. The ships move for it. So when I started understanding that we can do that, it's possible, the first thing that needed to happen, actually let me move my camera a little bit because I feel that okay, awesome, this is much better. Because first things first that we need to understand is belief. We need to believe that it is possible. I didn't believe that it's possible until I started shifting those beliefs in myself, which is I am able to attract those people to me. I am able to pull those people to me. When I started to shift those beliefs within me, what happened is I got introduced to a principle called pull marketing. Now, pull marketing in a lot of ways by itself has a lot of gaps. But pull marketing talks about you don't need to go out to people, you can pull those people to you. I'm like, okay, interesting. How to do that? How to do that? And from there, I started falling under the cult. So understanding how cults move people, how cults get people to come into their world, how dictators were able to rally thousands of people behind them, how even companies like Apple or even personalities like Iman Gaji were able to move millions of people to buy from them to come into their world. And as I started understanding this more and more, I started to realize that it's just a couple of key points that makes this happen. It's not sales calls, documents, outreach, all of that is kind of very shallow stuff that won't work if you don't have the stronger foundations behind it. So what happened? What did we do? The first shift that happened, the first thing that I started implementing is first I needed to understand my people. And when I say understand my people, I don't mean an avatar profile. I mean, like, look at this. Can you look at this? Can you see this? 30 pages, a deep dive on the psychology of my ICP. Cool. Why is that so important? Because in a world full of noise, the people who can go deep are the people who stand out fundamentally. If you want to be able to pull people towards you, if you want to be able to create magnetic messaging, you need to be able to understand who you're creating it for. What are you creating? What are you saying to those people? Would it resonate with them? Would it not resonate? For the majority of my life, I was guessing, throwing out, guessing. The content worked, I didn't know why. I thought it was a template. I got every template from every person. I'm someone who collected a lot of stuff over the years. So a lot of people do stuff, but they don't know why they worked. And before I did that, the ICP deep dive, 30 pages, this is literally on the dot 30 pages. I printed them out, like I think 3 days ago, 4 days ago. 30 pages ICP deep dive. It allowed me to understand my people better than they understand themselves, but not just that. This was the first part. The second part is once I understood those people, I need to understand myself. I needed to understand myself. Now, I am a person, by the way, if you come and live with me, I have a very boring, chill life. I'm someone who likes to sit at home, go work out, come from working out, watch a movie, sit with my fiance. I'm a very kind of basic person. And I'm a person who loves intimate relationships. I don't like have a lot of friends. I don't have a lot of people in my environment. I'm like very closed off, and I love my intimate relationships. Now, once I understood that for me to build a business based on a lot of interactions, speaking to a lot of people, aiming for virality, working with hundreds of clients at the same time would not be my thing, would not be my game. I would prefer to work with a handful of people at a single time and give them my all and give them all of my energy. This is why I charge a lot and I work very intimately with people, because this is my personality. So first I had to understand my people's personalities. Then I had to understand my own personality. And by the way, just like I have this for my ICP, I have the same thing, but for my own personality inside. Once those two things happened, what naturally started happening is whenever I wrote content, I wrote content from a very magnetic place, because my content came from me, my understanding of myself, but it also came from my understanding of my ICP. I know exactly what to say. I know exactly what triggered them. I know exactly their pain points. I know exactly that they felt that they were playing this game alone, that they were exhausted, that they were trying to figure it all out by themselves. I knew what moved them, what triggered them, because I studied them. I understood them. Which was step number 2, step number 3, step number 1, step number 2, and now step number 3 was distilling this understanding into content. Distilling this understanding into very targeted, specific types of content. A lot of people aim to create content at the mass level. I aim to create content at the micro level. At a level where someone who watches my piece of content sits down and be like, okay, like he's speaking to my soul. He's speaking to me. He's speaking from a very powerful and magnetic place. This is why on my Facebook, I've never had large audiences. But on my Facebook, even with a small audience, when I post, sometimes I get people reaching out to me and saying that this is one of the things that resonated with me the most. Sometimes I get people commenting, which honestly I don't optimize for comments, but sometimes I do get people commenting saying that I don't usually read long posts, but I read yours. Because once I understood my ICP, what they're sick of, what they just don't want to deal with anymore, and I created a solution for them that makes sense, that serves them, that really changes their life. And then I understood myself, and I understood what makes sense to me, what makes me full, what makes me energized, and how I can show up fully. I was able to distill this understanding into powerful content, which was step number 3. And step number 4 fundamentally is, once all of that packaging took place, kind of the foundations, the last piece of foundation was the offer. Now, when it comes to offers, a lot of people overcomplicate them. A lot of people go out there in the world, create offer documents, offer templates, offer cheat sheet, AI offer bots, the whole 9 yards fundamentally, without understanding that an offer, the strength of an offer is only built on the mechanism within this offer. So what is the mechanism that I use to get my people results? If you create one of the sexiest offers, you write one of the sexiest offers in the world, but within it, you tell people the same thing that 20 other coaches have told them, just in a slightly different way, they're not gonna work. They're not gonna resonate. They're not gonna convert. If people are sick of, let's say hypothetically, you are a mindset coach. And if people are sick of therapy, they're sick of therapy, they truly believe that therapy doesn't work. Cool? And you tell them that I'm gonna help you unlock your mindset, break through the noise, a 6-week format, you pay week by week, because some people that are very smart thought that, wow, if I change the payment terms from paying upfront to paying weekly, more people will buy from me. Wow, magic. Anyway, if you tell people that you're gonna do all of the sexy things, sexy stuff, but the way that you're gonna do it is through therapy, people are already sick of therapy, so they're not gonna buy. So fundamentally, the core foundation of a strong offer is you understanding those people, understanding this ICP very well, and then creating a solution that is unique, that is different from the things that they have already seen in the world and in the past. Things that they have already been sick of. And once those 4 foundations took place, that's it. I wish that I could come out and tell you that I have some fancy strategy. I don't. I really don't. My content became a reflection of my offer because my offer already was unique. My offer had unique mechanisms within it that make sense, that are different from everything that people have tried in the past. Cool. And that has been proven by working with a lot of people. So what I started doing was, this is the offer, this is my ICP. And between my offer and my ICP, there are blocks, things that are not allowing them to move forward. And all that I started doing in my content is I started removing those blocks. So usually those blocks are in the form of uncertainty. Uncertainty about you, who you are. So you're watching this, uncertainty about me, who am I? I'm a random dude living in a completely different country than you. So how would you believe me? Uncertainty about me. That's the first thing you need to remove within your content. The second thing is uncertainty about the solution. I am telling you that I have a machine. I am telling you that I have a system. I am telling you that I have something. Cool, great, awesome. How can you believe it? What can I show you to believe it? What can I tell you to believe it? What can I give you to make you believe it? That's the second thing. And the third thing is uncertainty about themselves. Actually, there is a very funny story, which is one time in my group I sent a message and I told people to buy from you, they need to be certain about you, your solution, and about themselves. And immediately one of the people in the group replied and they were like, I just had a conversation with someone who believed in my method, who believed me, but the problem is that he didn't believe in himself and his ability to achieve the thing. And this is a very common block with a lot of people, because especially in the coaching industry, very, very rarely you are people's first. You're not people's first, you're people's second, third, fourth coach, okay? And they might have been burnt out in the past. So part of being burnt out is resentment towards other coaches, but at the same time, resentment towards themselves and their ability to achieve the thing. So you have to prove that to them that, hey, believe me, believe my method, but also believe in yourself and your ability to achieve it. So I started creating content around that. That's it. I started creating content from my understanding of my ICP, my understanding of myself, my understanding of my offer. And that's it. And then whenever my work started getting results with people, which now we have, actually my laptop is in front of me, so let me give you. Right now we have 52 tracked testimonials on this board, And I have another board that sadly I was logged off of and lost. That back then had 62. So add 52 plus 64. So add 52 plus 64, you get the total results. So we had 100 something results from my work. So all that I started doing is, hey, this method work. I'm creating content around it, and I started showcasing to people the results. And sometimes I started showcasing people my results, my personal results of what I achieved with this method and my clients' results. And then this started to become a loop. It started to become a feedback loop fundamentally. And this is where the garden started to take shape. So the garden, the butterfly garden, remember in the beginning of the video what I told you, the butterfly garden started to take shape. Because right now, when I started to create content out of my understanding of my ICP and my understanding of my offer and my understanding of myself, and I had something very strong to go back to, and I had a lot of proof to go back to it, it became a magnetic thing. It became a magnetic garden where I had to post one piece of content, and one piece of content, look at how many things one piece of content does. One piece of content removes the objections of my ICP, okay? One piece of content explains to people parts of my offer. One piece of content, this is all under the same piece of content. So, removes objections of my ICP, explains my offer, gets my ICP to see that I understand them, gets my ICP to take action. So one piece of content per day is all that it took. And this is how I'm able to achieve kind of those results. Right now we're scaling from 20 to 30K per month to a 50K consistent per month. We got close to it, but nothing consistent. And to me, if it's not consistent, it doesn't really count. So this is what we're going to be using, but just at a larger scale. So right now that I understand that my content performs how I want it to perform and it keeps my garden alive, all that I have to do pretty much is do more of it. And in a lot of ways, I get bored because right now, like, all it takes me is an hour per day, 2 hours per day. So I have to start doing more just to satisfy my mind. But if I were to be like very transparent with what it takes, that's all that it takes. That's all that it takes. I wish that I could tell you that I have a ManyChat subscription automation that works in the back end. I wish that I could tell you that I have some system that no one has. I don't. I really don't. I just have good foundations. So we're going to use those foundations to get to 50K, and from there I might even start running some ads. I don't know. I really don't know. But this is it. This is how I'm able to get to 20 to 30K per month. No team members, no sales calls, no advanced funnels, no nothing, just one piece of content that pretty much does all of the work for me, that is built based on a good offer, on a good mechanism, and changes people's beliefs step by step to work with me. I'm going to expand more on how I do that, how I shift people's beliefs in my content. But if you want to get something pretty tangible right now, go to my YouTube and watch a video called Client Creation, because this is kind of the gist of how everything works, how the machine works in the background. Cool. Bye-bye.